The hushed cry of a newborn barely broke the silence of the opulent penthouse suite. Scarlett Hayes, a fading Hollywood starlet known for her volatile beauty, lay exhausted on the custom-made bed. A private nurse, Mrs. Davis, wrapped the tiny baby in a silk blanket, her expression professionally neutral. "It's a girl, Scarlett," Mrs. Davis said, her voice low. "A beautiful one." Scarlett weakly lifted her head. The joy expected on a mother's face was chillingly absent. Something was wrong. The baby wasn't tracking movement. Mrs. Davis gently waved her hand before the infant's face, then sighed, a deep professional regret. She doesn't see, Scarlett." Scarlett's heart hammered. "What are you saying?" "Your daughter is blind," Mrs. Davis stated. A heavy silence filled the penthouse. Scarlett stared at the baby in her arms, a tiny, innocent face, hands moving aimlessly. Outside, the city lights glittered, but in her heart, she only heard the whispers that would destroy her career. A curse on her beauty, a blemish on her perfect life. The baby's wealthy older father had passed away suddenly, leaving her alone with an heir that was, to her, a professional liability. Her body trembled with fear. That night, as the baby whimpered softly, Scarlett made a decision that would haunt her forever. The moon was a cold disk high above the dense, unlit section of Central Park. Scarlett walked quickly, her designer heels sinking into the soft earth. The rustle of dry leaves and distant city sirens were the only sounds. In her arms, the tiny bundle was silent now. She stopped by a massive, ancient oak tree. Tears streaked her flawless makeup. She knelt, placing the baby on a patch of soft pine needles. "I'm sorry, Grace," she whispered, the name a painful irony. I can't do this." She turned away, squeezing her eyes shut. The baby's cries began, weak at first, then growing louder, piercing the urban quiet. "Just walk away," she told herself. "Someone will find her. Someone will take care of her." But she knew the truth. No one came here. With one last fleeting look at her daughter, Scarlett ran. She ran without looking back, leaving behind the one soul who needed her most. Miles away, an ambulance pulled to the side of a Park Service road. Dr. Marcus Sterling, a respected pediatric specialist, was finishing a late-night house call. He was exhausted, but the sound of a crying child made him stop. He followed the faint whimpering into the trees. Near the old oak, he saw it, a tiny bundle wrapped in expensive cloth. His heart clenched. He gently picked up the infant. "Who would abandon you here, little one?" he whispered, rocking her. The baby stopped crying, sensing the kindness in his hands. Dr. Sterling couldn't leave her. He held her close and walked back to his wife, Eleanor, waiting nervously in the ambulance. Dr. Marcus and Eleanor Sterling named her Grace. Years passed, and Grace grew up surrounded by unconditional love. Her blindness never defined her. She learned to feel the world with her fingers, to hear its secrets with her ears, and to understand with a heart that saw deeper than sight. One afternoon, Eleanor handed Grace a sleek, modern electronic keyboard. "Music, my love," Eleanor said, smiling. "It's seen with the heart, not just the eyes." Grace's hands found the keys. At first, the notes were tentative, but soon, sweet melodies began to float through their suburban home, touching everyone who listened. Grace's talent grew, earning her a scholarship to a prestigious arts academy. One evening, as Dr. Sterling watched Grace play a complex piece, an idea struck him. He had always suspected an underlying issue. He spent that night reviewing rare neurological cases. The next day, he took Grace to his clinic. After meticulous tests, his hands shook as he looked at the results. "There is hope," he whispered. Grace's blindness wasn't permanent. A cutting-edge surgery could restore her sight, but the cost was astronomical. Still, Dr. Sterling made his decision. He would find a way to give Grace the gift of sight, even if it took everything he had. Dr. Sterling found himself facing financial ruin, prepared to sell his practice. But then, An unexpected benefactor stepped forward. An anonymous, influential Hollywood agent who owed Dr. Sterling an old favor. The surgery was on. In the sterile hospital room, Grace, now 16, lay on the bed, holding Eleanor's hand. "Mama, will I really see you?" she asked softly. Eleanor kissed her forehead. "Yes, my love, you will see us." Dr. Sterling walked in, his face a mask of confidence. He knew the risks. Any mistake could be permanent. He followed the gurney into the operating room, whispering a silent prayer for the daughter he had chosen to save. Hours later, Eleanor sat gripping her rosary in the waiting area. Finally, the doors opened. Dr. Sterling stepped out, his face unreadable. Eleanor rushed to him. "Marcus, tell me!" He took a deep breath, then smiled, relief washing over his features. "The surgery was successful, Eleanor. Our Grace can see." 2 days later, the moment came to remove the bandages. Dr. Sterling and Eleanor stood beside Grace. As the cloth was gently unwrapped, Grace blinked, her breathing quickening. "Grace, can you see us?" Dr. Sterling asked, his voice thick with emotion. Slowly, a wide, radiant smile stretched across her lips. "Papa, Mama, I see you." She saw the loving faces of the people who had given her everything. Tears filled the room, tears of pure joy. Miles away, Scarlett Hayes, now older and worn, sat alone in a sterile, modern apartment, her hands empty. For years, she had tried to conceive another child, visited countless clinics, and chased false hopes. Her career had faded, replaced by bitter loneliness. "Why, God?" she whispered. "Why did you take my future from me?" A bitter, cold voice echoed her thoughts. "Perhaps because you abandoned the one you were given." Scarlett trembled. It was an old associate who knew the truth. "You left that child to die," the voice said, "and now you have nothing." A fierce determination flared in Scarlett's eyes. She had to find her. She sold the last of her valuable jewels, packed a small bag, and began her search. Scarlett eventually traced Dr. Sterling to his successful uptown clinic. She walked in, exhausted but resolute, and demanded to see him. Moments later, Dr. Sterling stepped out, his posture immediately cold and protective. Scarlett fell to her knees. "Please, doctor, I am here for my daughter. Grace is my child. I am her mother." Dr. Sterling's laughter was sharp, filled with contempt. "You must be a foolish woman. You abandoned a helpless baby in the forest like an animal. And now that she is a strong, wonderful young woman, you think you can simply walk in and claim her?" His voice dropped, icy. "If you ever come near my daughter again, I will call the police. Now get out." Scarlett stumbled away, defeated, her heart shattered. Later that evening, Dr. Sterling and Eleanor sat in their living room, their faces tight with strain. "She came back, Eleanor," Dr. Sterling whispered. "The woman who abandoned Grace. She begged me to let her take Grace back." Eleanor grasped his hands. "No, she is our daughter. We won't lose her, Marcus." Unbeknownst to them, Grace, now able to see, was frozen on the staircase landing. Her entire world shattering as she heard the painful truth. She wasn't their flesh and blood. She had been abandoned. Grace locked herself away, consumed by questions. Why? Why didn't they tell me? But the love and warmth of her childhood memories eventually overpowered the betrayal. The next day, she sought out Dr. Sterling in his office. She walked towards him, her eyes red, but her voice steady. "I have forgiven you and Mama," Grace said softly. Dr. Sterling stared, tears welling up. You have?" Grace nodded, approaching him. "You and Mama are my parents. You raised me, you loved me, you gave me sight. And no matter what, you will always be my family." She hugged him tightly. "I love you, Daddy. I don't care where I came from. You and Mama are my real family." The battle was over, but the wounds needed closure. Scarlett, now desperate and broken, returned to the clinic weeks later, quieter, no longer shouting, but begging. "Doctor," she whispered, falling to her knees. I was wrong. I was young and scared of the shame. I thought if I abandoned her, my life would be better. But I was so wrong. I don't want to take Grace. I just want a chance to see her, to tell her I'm sorry, to beg for her forgiveness. Dr. Sterling looked at the ruined woman before him. He sighed heavily. I will forgive you, Scarlett, not for your sake, but for Grace's. But whether she forgives you, that is her choice to make. If you truly regret what you did, then don't cause any more trouble. Let her decide when she is ready. Scarlett, wiping her tears, nodded and promised to respect his boundary. She had received the only thing she could, a quiet path to redemption through acceptance. She left the city, knowing the light she once tried to extinguish had found a true home.